I'm Christine Olivieri, and thank you for letting me be your paleo practitioner. Today we're going to talk about how you really are what you eat. So the first thing I'd like to talk about is paleo breakfast foods. So many times my patients say, how can I go paleo? What's there to eat? You're telling me I can't have bagels, I can't have cereal, I can't have pancakes or pretzels. What's there left to eat? Oh, there's so much left to eat, and it's all healthy foods. So paleo breakfast foods, let's talk about eggs. Eggs are back. Thank goodness, right? Eggs are so filled with nutrition, and don't throw away the yolk, which is the most nutritious part. Cook your eggs any way you like, but eggs, even though they're high in cholesterol, are not the type of cholesterol that's going to raise your serum cholesterol. So if you eat eggs or other high cholesterol foods, there's no reason why to think that your cholesterol is going to go up. Because really what makes your cholesterol go up is when you eat a lot of refined carbohydrates, and your liver will turn that into cholesterol. Now, the best way to know whether or not the eggs you're eating are healthy is go to a website called the Cornucopia Institute. The Cornucopia Institute is a way of rating eggs based on how humane they treat the hens, how well they feed the hens, and how happy the hens are. So it really is important to get the best quality eggs that you can in your area. Of course, if you live near a local farm or someone who's raising chickens, please find out if you can get some of their eggs. Those are usually the most healthy. Now also, if you will download the accompaniment book on this website, there is a sheet called Why Eggs Are Healthy. And you'll find that Certified Humane is a little label that you want to see on your egg carton, especially if it's mass produced to some degree. You want to make sure that those hens are treated humanely. Now the other thing I say for breakfast is dinner for breakfast. Why can't you eat leftover fish or leftover chicken with some vegetables or fruit for breakfast? We've got to get away from the mindset of the traditional American breakfast because it's loaded with carbohydrates. And those carbohydrates 100 or 150 years ago were very necessary for our culture because people were farmers and fishermen. They were walking or riding miles into town. They needed that type of energy. We don't need that type of energy anymore. Unless you're running a marathon, you don't need to consume a lot of carbohydrates. And the next thing I would suggest for breakfast, protein is king. Please have a high protein breakfast. So whether it's fish or eggs or steak or pork chops, definitely consider protein for breakfast. Let's talk about paleo lunches. Well, you want to keep it simple. Don't complicate your lunches. Have some leftover vegetables, whether they're cooked or raw, and put some protein or fats on it. A little bit of avocado is very healthy if you like avocado. Nuts, a little tiny bit of cheese on your salad just for flavor. And take it with you. If you put yourself in a position where you don't have food with you, especially for lunch, you're leaving yourself open to being vulnerable to whatever is around or whatever you can find. And most of the time it's not going to be a healthy choice. Get in the habit of bringing lunch with you. It really is the best way to stay paleo and to control what you're eating. And when you must eat out, as all of us sooner or later are going to do, be careful about how you order your food and ask questions from the waitstaff of whether or not the food is doused with sauces or commercially made dressings. These are the things that add enormous amounts of calories and too much sugar and salt to your diet. So you really, when you eat out, just ask for things with sauce on the side and ask for things to be grilled plain as often as possible. Now let's talk about paleo dinners. Again, keep it simple. There's great recipe books out there that you can use to make some very, very tasty meals. However, plain grilled fish or meat is the best. And simple vegetables that are either grilled or slightly sauteed or raw or just steamed with a little drizzle of olive oil on them. That's really the best. So stay away from the sauces. However, spices are usually fine as long as they're not salty spices. And again, eating in restaurants, it's not optimal. However, it can be done if you're just careful about asking how the food is prepared and asking for sauces and dressings to be put on the side. Remember, when you eat in a restaurant or when you go buy your lunch in a fast food or a deli, you're giving away all your power over what you put into your body. So try to think ahead of time and pre-prepare so that you can anticipate when you're going to need that next meal, and if it's possible, to bring food with you. And the last thing for paleo dinners is lots of colorful vegetables. Starches are not needed for nutrition or for feeling satisfied. Vegetables are the most nutritious. Many of my patients say to me, I will not feel full unless I have some rice or pasta or bread. It just fills me up. Well, there's a reason for that. All of those foods are starches. If you've ever cooked a starch, such as rice or pasta, it absorbs the water. That's true. Well, just because you eat it doesn't mean it stops absorbing the water. Let's say you were to cook some pasta or rice. By the time it reaches its perfect level of doneness, where you think that it's ready to be eaten, you drain the water off and you serve it. However, what would happen if you did not drain the water off and you pushed it to the back of the stove and you left it there for 12 hours? It would be a gooey, sticky mess, absorbing all the water by the morning. Well, the same thing happens when you eat those starchy foods. You eat them, and they blow up your stomach, like that. They absorb all the water in your stomach, making you feel very full. So it's a false sense of fullness. It's really bloating. So if that's the feeling that you're waiting for after you eat vegetables, you won't have that bloated feeling, but you will be full. Another thing you want to do when you watch what you eat is you want to reduce the sugar on your palate. That means the more you put sugar into your mouth, the more your palate is going to demand it. So you want to slowly wean your palate off of the sweet foods and the sweet beverages, whether it's real sugar or artificial sweeteners. Because again, the more you give your palate, your tongue and your mouth, the sweet foods, the more you will demand that flavor. And you can tell this because if you were to buy sweetened yogurt and plain yogurt, the first time you taste that plain yogurt, it will taste awful to you because it has no sugar in it. And you're used to, when that spoon goes close to your mouth, you're anticipating what it's going to taste like. So you slowly wean yourself off of the sweet and onto the unsweetened by making a 50-50 and then a 75-25 mixture. And eventually you go to the unsweetened yogurt with your plain chopped up fruit and maybe some chopped up nuts in there also. You'll never miss the sugar if you do it slowly. So slowly out with the bad and in with the good. Same thing goes for salad dressings and desserts or anything else. Slowly less sugar. And many of my patients ask me about alcohol. Alcohol is okay in the human diet as well as in a paleo diet, but really not a lot. Red wine is really the most preferred. Of course, most alcohol, including beer, is all based in grains. So it's really not paleo. However, red wine, which with all its wonderful resveratrol, which is being studied right now and found to be very, very beneficial for us, actually is healthy. And human beings, as well as many animals, have been eating fermented fruit for eons. So we know alcohol is nothing new. But initially, it will lower your blood sugar. If you have enough of it, it will lower your blood sugar initially. Your liver will turn off to all digestion in order to focus on detoxifying what you just ate, which is the alcohol. Alcohol is looked at by your body as a poison, and your liver will focus 100% of its energy on detoxifying all of that alcohol, which will take hours. So if you eat at the same time you drink a lot of alcohol, you may find initially you feel that your blood sugar is low. Then hours later, your blood sugar will be high. So your blood sugar will soar in about anywhere between 6 and 10 hours later if you eat and drink excessive alcohol, which is also very responsible for that sluggish, foggy feeling you have in the morning. It's due to very high blood sugars, and it's also due to all that work that your liver had to do detoxifying all of that alcohol. Happens every time. Let's talk about spices. Generally with spices, have fun. Whether it's ginger or garlic or any of the other spices like turmeric or chili powder or cumin, just avoid the salt. Hot pepper powder or hot peppers are chilies, and the active ingredient is capsaicin. This is actually helpful for weight loss. So if you like your food spicy with chili powder, enjoy. Curry, which the active ingredient is curcumin, which is also found in turmeric. This is also a very healthy spice, as long as it's not salty. And many of these spices do have anti-inflammatory effects, especially hot chili powder and curry. And they also are being believed to protect your beta cells, which are the insulin-producing cells. We just have so many of them in our lifetime, so don't stress them out. What's the difference between a grain and a seed? Well, a grain, generally speaking, is a seed. However, it's almost 100% carbohydrate. Little bit of protein, little bit of fat. But a seed is almost 100% fat and protein, very little carbohydrate. Let's talk about a sweet treat. Everybody likes a little sweet treat after a meal. So how about a little bit of dark chocolate, which would be 70% cocoa or higher? If you can tolerate 85% or even 90% cocoa, which is very bitter chocolate. But as you slowly wean your palate off of insisting on that sugar all the time, this will be sweet enough for you. And dark chocolate is very high in antioxidants, high in fat, healthy fats, and it is a little bit of a sweet treat. Another sweet treat would be fresh berries and maybe a little bit of fresh whipped cream. I never use commercially made whipped creams, especially in those spray bottles, because they're all sweetened with way too much sugar. But if you take some fresh cream and you whip it, and it really only takes maybe about 3 or 4 minutes to beat up the whipped cream, and a little bit, just enough to give you a little sweet treat. Another sweet treat would be unsweetened coconut chips or even fresh coconut. Nothing's better than opening up a fresh coconut. Weight Watchers is a great place to start if you want to learn about portion size and achieving weight loss. Weight Watchers will often give people points or other new methods of counting their portion sizes. If your problem is overeating and you don't eat too much of the wrong foods, Weight Watchers might be a good alternative. How many calories do you need every day? Well, all you have to do is take your weight and times it by 12. And that will give you the amount of calories in a day that you need to maintain your weight. So let's say you're 150 pounds. Times that by 12. That gives you 1,800. That means a 150-pound person should consume about 1,800 calories a day. Now, in order to lose weight, you need to be deficient in 3,500 calories in order to lose 1 pound of body fat. Wow. 3,500 calories. That could be a 500 calorie a day deficiency or burn, of course, if you exercise. And you do that 7 days a week, and you will lose 1 pound of body fat a week, which actually is a very good weight loss. So 500 calories a day deficiency or burn will equal a 1 pound of body fat loss a week. Now, you don't have to worry about how many calories you're taking in if you're eating paleo. I believe that, because if you're taking in the bulk of your calories, of your 1,800 or 2,000 calories a day, from vegetables and fruit, and very healthy meats and fish and high fats like coconut, olives, olive oil, and avocados, then you're not going to have to worry about how many calories you take in, because it's kind of hard to overeat after a while when you're taking in so much nutrition. I hope you learned something from today's video lesson. My name is Christine Olivieri, and thank you for letting me be your paleo practitioner.